Can the classic arcade game Rampage be translated to the big screen? I don't think so. The movie stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Naomi Harris, Malin Ackerman, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Oh, and of course, George, Ralph, and Lizzie. A genetic experiment goes very wrong, and through the course of an accident, 3 animals are exposed to this experiment and they mutate into the animals or the monsters that we see in the trailer. The Rock plays a primatologist with a military background, and he works closely with George, the ape. And because of this mutation, this accident, he wants to save his friend. Naomi Harris plays a geneticist with some inside information on how to reverse the mutation. She teams up with The Rock, and they then try to save the animals. Malin Ackerman is the head of the company responsible for the genetic experiment. Jeffrey Dean Morgan plays some sort of government spook, and he may or may not be an ally of The Rock. So what did I like about Rampage? Well, first off, the animals, or the monsters. The CGI was pretty good, and they were believable, and they looked really just cool on screen. You have this giant albino ape. You have this wolf that has all kinds of like porcupine spikes out of it. And if you've seen any of the trailers, you know it has some other special abilities. And then we have Lizzie, who is this alligator, crocodile, ankylosaur type of mixture. And it is just crazy, huge. Just these things can bring ultimate destruction to a city. And they do. I also like the action. This is pretty much a mindless action flick where you just sit and watch the destruction. And in that sense, it's pretty on point. I also like the subtle shout-outs to the arcade game. In 2 scenes, if you're looking closely, you can actually see the arcade game tucked away in a corner. And so that was pretty cool. There's some other ones where I'm not going to give it away, but you see little hints here and there, and it's actually a direct reference to the arcade game itself. One of the game references, though, felt really out of place, and so that was a bummer. That's pretty much all I liked. Now for what I didn't like about Rampage. First off, the jokes. They felt forced. They were just kind of eh. And The Rock, who has some comedic chops, we've seen him in a bunch of things, and most recently in Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle. Now that could be because he's teamed up in Jumanji with some other comedic actors, and so he's playing off of them. In this, they were just, yuck, and stop. Just don't. Don't even make the joke because it was terrible and it was distracting. Another thing is the story. It dragged on a bit. And quite honestly, in an action flick, that's a really bad thing. You don't want the story to drag at all. It should be going non-stop, just bring me more action. Yeah, not so much in this. There were some continuity issues on some kind of major things, and then there were some things that were wildly unbelievable. And in a movie about giant mutated animals, that's kind of saying something. There were several convenient moments, and even some scenes where it made the actors be overly dramatic and you didn't need it, and it didn't flow well with the rest of the film. The ending was wrapped up too nicely and too quickly, and it felt a little implausible, which again is saying something for a movie based off of an arcade game. So the biggest dislike I have is actually with Jeffrey Dean Morgan. He was playing Negan from The Walking Dead throughout the entire movie. And it wasn't just his voice, or it wasn't just the way he stood or anything. It was the entire performance. Every bit of him was Negan from The Walking Dead. From his southern drawl, to the way that he walked, to the way that he even stood. He'd slouch back a little bit and kind of sit there on his, I don't know, on his heels maybe. And it was weird and it was distracting, and it was like, gosh, guy, are you stuck in this role in that you can't be original? Or is this you and that's just you and you're playing Negan as you also? Either way, I didn't come to see a movie about The Walking Dead. I came to see a movie about giant animals. The way he delivered his lines made it really hard to trust what his character was saying. And so you don't know, is he an ally? Is he betraying something? It's really hard to tell, and it caused a lot of confusion as like, I don't even know whether to take you seriously or not. Really, the only difference between Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character in Rampage and Negan in The Walking Dead is that the character in Rampage didn't carry a baseball bat or a leather jacket. Overall, this was a very disappointing film, and I didn't go in with high expectations. I don't even think it qualifies as a summer popcorn action flick. Now, sure, will little kids enjoy it because of the animals and the destruction? Absolutely. But anybody with discerning taste is really gonna go, and feel cheated out of your money. There's no sex and no nudity. There's a lot of violence and some language, along with some just rude and crude hand gestures from the gorilla. I give Rampage 2.5 out of 5 couches. Thanks for watching. What's your favorite action movie? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe. If you're already a subscriber, hit that bell icon so you'll be notified when I post something new. I'm Chris, this is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.